Hey everyone, welcome back. Now, meant to do this earlier, but over the last weekend, was at a community yard sale and found there was someone selling some model kits, and end up for fairly cheap, and ended up getting them. So, figured might as well show you, plus the extra goodies that were included. But before I get to that, like to point out that I have been slowly upgrading my video work. So for starters, ended up buying this iJoy Vlogger set from Walmart for about $20. Pretty much a camera stand with the mic, which I figured, you know what? My camera stand that I was using previously was pretty much just using whatever I had laying around. So I figured I might as well go to something more professional. So without further ado, so there's pretty much that. So without further ado, show you some of my stuff that I got. So this is pretty much everything I got in here. So bunch of truck magazines and some postcards. So we'll sort this out and then show you what's all in here. So starting off here, there's 4 sets of different postcards that are in German. Not going to bother reading this, but what this pretty much is a packet of about 10 postcards of assortment of trucks. So like for instance, here we have the Series 3 Mack trucks. Pretty much a bunch of old B series. Here's an R series Mack. There's another one. And then I think here's a DM series. Then a cab over. Then a pretty and fairly old truck. Then with an old, what looks to be like a 46 or 47 Ford in the background. So pretty much, here's a look at the Mack. And then going next, you got the Heinz Shell, which is a brand I haven't heard of before, but I'm probably pretty sure that's like some sort of German truck. But some pretty old stuff in here. Now it's an interesting design. How it looks like it's all just the front end with the headlights and the bumper. That's really weird to me. Then some fairly basic trucks. Then here's a different one where headlights are in the bumper and just a flat nose. It's really different. Here's some more sensible trucks. So there's that from this series. Then we got the MAN trucks. Here, got really nice double cab. Then here's a day cab with a dump bed on it. Looks fairly nice. Then a similar styling to long notes. You have a cab over that pretty much looks like a smushed face. Some more fairly decent old trucks. Now this one here really screams with antiquity. Fairly old. Looks like something you would have seen out of the 30s. Got some really undersized headlights. Apparently, then here's an interesting one. Apparently this one's got plates from Nashville, Tennessee, and some other commemorative plates. Another delivery truck. Then for the last one, we have some DOF trucks. So, pretty nice paint job on this one. Nice basic cab over. Now this interesting twin-steered tanker truck. looks like would be about a 70s one. Here's an old, what looks to be like an old 60s or 50s or 60s truck. Definitely something interesting. Now this here's really cool. Got an old cherry picker truck, which looks like something that you would have seen out of the 30s or 40s. So that's a really interesting looking truck. Now here with the the MAN, and the Heinz shell trucks, don't really know a whole lot about these. So I'm not even going to try figuring out what the names are. But here's another interesting one. Looks like a vac truck or a septic truck. So, pretty cool. Then on a lot of these, pretty much these were a postcard set. So what you would do is you have put down mailing address and then who you're sending it to. So these are kind of cool to have. And as far as I know, these are all from 1985. So a lot of these would have been fairly new trucks at the time, and with a bunch of older stuff. But it's interesting to see how stuff you think is old, but at the time when these pictures were taken, they were essentially newer trucks. So that's pretty much that on the postcards. Then moving on to a little bit something else. Got an entire stack of these classic truck modeler magazines. And by looking through some of the content on some of these magazines, there's quite a lot of useful information, like tips and tricks, and pretty much quite some astonishing builds. Like let's see if I can find, there's one specifically. Okay, yeah, and there was also a complete guide to truck modeling, which was really nice that was included. To include construction detailing and paint weathering techniques. So this is definitely something nice to have. That'll be good for not just trucks, but even working on the cars. I didn't see this one. Ford CL 8000. This is actually an interesting truck. Don't really see many of these. So definitely something interesting to find, especially being for the Ford truck series. This is really cool. And here now we have a little bit some more cleaner trucks. Then have a really nice fire truck issue. And then apparently here's some really good stuff, like on weathering. And I got a rusted Mack truck. Or wait, no, actually, pardon me, it's an auto car. Looks really nice. Got some pretty cool stuff. Even a bunch of larger scale, nice quality stuff. And then got some interesting European trucks. And then, yeah, this is the one that I was looking through on the pile of this double cab auto car, which just looking at it looks astonishing. Really can't imagine how many hours it would have taken to build this thing. Just looks so impressive. Now, so this is something I really like. And then we also got a bunch of, looks like farm equipment. Some old tractors. Interesting stuff here. Probably a bunch of kits that I'd want to get, but probably will never get the chance to get, since they're really expensive and almost impossible to come by. Then got some more trucks. Apparently I have another version of the magazine. Then, along with the Ford magazines, also have one dedicated towards Mack trucks, which is pretty cool. Probably a bunch of interesting stuff in here, like some of the history of the trucks, what versions have been sold over the years. Not sure if I'm going to do an individual video on these, but it's nice to have these in the collection. So let me get these out of the way. Then I'll start off showing off some of the kits. So here, might as well make my way from basic stuff into towards the more interesting. So starting off, have this fairly nice the AMT White Western Star truck, which I don't have this truck, but so it's a nice one to have. Plus, you know, while the boxes are in a little bit of a rough shape, they're all going to get built eventually, so I'm not too concerned about these. So, plus these here are also the re-released versions, as you can see from the back. And then, what I'm planning to go with the truck is this that was also included, the AMT Lowboy trailer. Now I've been thinking about getting the one that came with the bulldozer, but haven't gotten around to it. So in that case, I ended up getting this with the package deal. So it's got like some electrical stuff, some ground cables. So I think that'll work good with the White Western Star to do a construction scene. And then sticking with construction vehicles, been looking at this for a little while. The NPC's gravel trailer, which looks pretty nice. And I have been looking that you can actually get, if you have a second version of the kit, you can turn part of it into a trolley cart, so that you can have both a dump trailer and you can build an actual dump truck to go with it, like seen here. So you can have a full-on pup unit to go with the dump truck. So that is pretty cool to have. Might get the second one eventually when I get around to building it. And so our next one up, sticking with the construction theme, got this really big one here. Revell Germany's Kenworth dump trucks of the 80s series. By the looks of it, there's going to be a lot of parts to it. It's in 1/25th scale, which is fairly nice to go along with the other trucks. This one here alone is a $120 kit. So this would have been quite the item to get back when this was first on shelves. So we got here like the interior and the engine and a working dump box, which is pretty nice. Then a bunch of cab accessories. So this will be definitely a good build. If anything, this will probably end up being built along with the dump trailer. So pretty much a case of hooking up the dump trailer with this and having it as one whole unit. And it'll be a good chance to do some weathering. And I have been debating on if I'm going to do this as an industrial truck or spice things up and do a custom truck on this. So like drop it down a couple inches. But pretty much a case until I get around to it. Then finishing up with the vehicle kits. A little bit of a side thing. Got the Ghostbusters Ecto 1, which is a kit that I've wanted for a little while. Very nice. And supposedly with the kit, it's just a basic curbside, so no engine detail. But it makes sense, as the back here or the top roof would be designed for the containment unit. So I think it's pretty nice. And it may not have been a 59 Cadillac coupe that I wanted to build, but having a 59 Cadillac in general is really nice to have. This will go great with my movie and TV car collection. One thing I have thought about with this kit is how there's supposedly 2 different sticker sheets. So what I'm thinking of doing is you use one set for the car and then get like the 60 Chevy pickup, as that's the only real kit close to a 59 model year. So get the truck and do it up in a matching paint scheme to this. So to have a double team of vehicles. So that's my plan with this when I get around to it. And then moving on to some military stuff. Got this really cool Merit International US M19 tank transporter with hardtop cab. Looks really nice. Of course, with these military kits, it's 1/35th scale. So it's a lot different than typical kits. So it's going to be a lot smaller. But the thing with this is that there's I think there's something like 400 or something pieces to this truck. And with this, you get a full-on truck with a tank carrier. And I do have a model tank that I have to build up still that will work great with this. Then got some really nice photo etched parts. So probably gonna be around, probably like later sometime this year I'm going to get around to this. If not, gonna start next year. But this will definitely be a big project to build. Probably a fairly expensive kit new. And then the last of the kits, got the Revell Fortson WOT6, which I believe was just a patrol truck during the war. So it seems like a fairly basic kit. Has about 283 parts, which for the size of this, that's actually quite an impressive amount, as most 1/25th scale vehicles don't come with that many parts. So in here is a $50 kit. So fairly inexpensive. Got a fair bit of detail on the underside, with what looks like to have a full engine. So if anything, if I don't end up getting around to building the tank in time, I'll probably end up building this to go with the tank transporter. So that will be fairly cool. So that will be fairly nice to build. So that's all for the kits, and that's pretty much it. That's it for everything. So pretty much a case of put stuff back. Yeah. And if anything, it'll probably be some time. Of course, probably be over time where get around to building some of the trucks. Of course, I want to get a few more projects done, like I want to get the drag team combo kit done, as well as the Peterbilt before I start anything else. Otherwise, I'm going to have too many projects sitting around. Plus, I got a few things that I want to go back on and finish up. So, I think that's going to be it for this video. And until next time, see ya.